Hey everybody. Every place that I've ever worked that uses Angular Material, every enterprise that I've ever worked in that uses Angular Material, always has sort of this drama that always appears around these scroll bars. They just eventually you make some sort of change or something, and it causes a scroll bar to appear where it's not wanted. And here's a really good example of a scroll bar. Um, so I ran into two issues that this scroll bar and another issue that I wanted to address just while I was playing around. And the other one you see more when you're at full size. So like if you hit refresh and you hit I would rather these just stay vertical even if we are wide. Um, so I just wanted to fix those two things, and it seemed like that would be pretty simple, but and it was. It fixing them was pretty simple, but it did lead to other problems, which I have found is like another step to another problem that I just kind of wanted to talk about and demonstrate. Um, so at the top of the list, so fixing this scroll bar issue uh, was, let me see, let me just uncomment this guy and uncomment this guy. So basically in this code right here, what it does is it just says targets anything within the toolbox. Um, and I put it in the styles directly because I'm trying to target things that are internal to material. And that is always an issue because it makes upgrading a lot harder because Angular Material will change the internal workings, which is totally their right and totally to be expected. Um, so, but anyway, so this setting the mat MDC tab content to give it a minimum height that's bigger than that button uh, solves this problem, and it's gone. Now, another thing that's really funny about working on this is like it didn't have to reload or anything. And that is very cool, but it also doesn't work consistently. So in order to be sure, you really do need need to restart um, the browser and test it that way because I have seen it where you make changes like this and the it doesn't actually get picked up, but it's still gone, so that's good. So now fixing the other problem. Okay, so if I hit this and this, um, so I made that change, and now we have these double things, uh, overflows, scroll bars, and I have never seen a specific issue that seems very small be so provocative in places. Every QA person, every BA, every project owner, every director is on high alert for these double scroll bars, and they will come down hard on that. So like, don't think that people aren't going to notice it. This is something you have to resolve immediately. Um, so the way I resolved, well, so um, but one thing at a time. So let's go ahead and so we still have our issue with the multis. So let me go ahead and put that back to where it belongs. And with the sliding up, and the way that is solved is in here, and that's by changing these map form fields to um, display black. Now this is pretty safe. They are very very unlikely to change the name of the actual um, component. So like if you look in the HTML, this is the name of the component, and if you can see it in here, you normally are safe. So if there's a class or something that you're changing in here, but if it's something you can't see in the template, then you are making changes at your own risk. But anyway, so now if I go here, and I expand this, um, they stay vertical, which is what I want. I mean, that's an argument. That's like a personal preference. You may not want that. I could it clearly would not be a hill that I would die on. I don't know why that's being so um, difficult. There we go. So not a hill I would die on. Whatever. It's just personal preference. But we do still have our double Here, let's go ahead and restart this and just make sure that we're still good. Oh, still working. And hit our mesh and edit. Let's see if I can find a better way to do this. This is not the better way. Expand it. Yeah, and we're good. And let's see how smooth this goes. There we go. And so we're good on that, but we still have our double styles. And I would spend a little more time like sort of digging into exactly why these fix things, but it doesn't even matter because it honestly, like every version of Material, these things change, and it's just one of those things that you have to. Material brings a lot of great things, but this is one of those things. And it's very important in this situation to put a comment that says what your intentions were, because honestly, in the next version of Material, there probably won't be a mat-mdc tab body content. There may be some other thing. This class may not even exist. So giving the next developer a hint as to what problem you were addressing is going to be very helpful to them. So this fixes that issue, the double scroll bar issue. So that is fixed. It still leaves this space. If we do stop, Control C and restart, that double space goes away. So that's good, and our problems are over, you would think. So, well, we still have that space, but I think it's fine. Then, okay, so this is a fascinating thing. So first of all, another thing that we probably should do is bring that into here, because we really don't want the tab bodies being changed outside of our toolbox. This is just for the toolbox, this margin issue. So we'll do that. But this styles.css in most enterprises is a nightmare. What happens is every developer needs to come in here and make changes, and this file becomes enormous. I mean, it can become tens of thousands of lines long with all kinds of duplicate code in there, and all sort of get conflicts when you're trying to put it together. In my last job, we kind of came up with a scheme where you would put the styles inside of the style that affects a specific component inside of its own directory, like this, and you would namespace it so that it only affects that component, and that makes it very easy for a follow-up developer to come in and make these changes without affecting other components, because that's the thing about this styles is it applies to all components. So basically pulling it in this way is exceptionally helpful, and it is a lot easier to sort of make sense of Git conflicts when you do it this way. Because you're only changing one line in this file. So even if there are already 10,000, like if you already work in a place and they've already gone down that road and they have 10,000 lines in here and it's messing everything up, doing it this way makes your life a lot easier, because if there's a conflict in styles, you can just blindly say, okay, whatever, get rid of my change and move my import someplace else, and it doesn't make a difference. I mean, that's not 1,000% true, but it's like 999% true. It's like, it's possible that your order can make a difference, but that's really, really unusual. Let me hit stop so I don't hit the alarm. So if you do see like a conflict in these at your component level, then that's something you need to take a good hard look at and figure out, okay, why is me and some other developer, why are we working on the same component and with two different agendas? We need to sync up. But like if it's just in the styles and you're just making a style change, it's unlikely that you guys are actually have some sort of conflicting um, end game in mind. Um, so I would always suggest that. And then while I'm at it, I'm just going to move this guy into my toolbox because it really only applies to toolbox issues. But anyways, this is something, I mean, I'll be honest with you, most places I work have very strict rules on being able to get to the internet. And so like if I have resources that I've kind of created for myself to reference, I can't really usually access them, but I've never worked at a place that has YouTube, where you can't get to YouTube. So since I'm putting all these videos on YouTube, I'll have access to this. And so in the future, when I'm trying to wrap my head around some sort of Angular material issue, I'll have this as a resource to look at. Anyways, happy coding. Bye.